Hello and welcome to another episode of Mediocre Dads. I'm your host Q, and I'm really, truthfully, excited because I finally feel like I have some more time to record, or maybe it's just me, finding the time, if you will. I think there was a brief moment in there when I was a little nervous about recording again because I didn't feel like I was doing a good job, but I won't get into all that. Welcome to Mediocre Dads. If you are new here, welcome. We always welcome those who are new here, and I'm appreciative that you are here and willing to take a chance with us here to join us on this journey of mine as a father, and as I progress as a father, if you will. But again, nonetheless, welcome. Thank you for clicking on my video to watch it, and I hope you continue to watch my videos, and I hope you go watch some previous videos that I have put out. If you are a returning viewer, of course, appreciate you. Thank you, thank you. I can see my hands. There we go. Thank you. I appreciate you guys. It means a lot that you are willing to come back, watch the videos that I put out, and then and just and go through this with me, go through this process with me, and I don't know any other words, but how to express it. But it does mean a lot to me. It really does, and I am very appreciative of that. So again, thank you, and welcome to this episode. So on this episode, I'm gonna tell you guys a story. And I thought about taking this approach because I felt like for some time things seem super robotic, and I don't want to seem like a robot, like I'm just trying to get through an agenda, if you will, and I wanted it to flow better, and so my intent here is to tell you a story, and kind of get your guys' feedback afterwards, and so you let me know if it's a good story, if you will, or if you enjoyed hearing the story, or whatever the case might be. So it's gonna start. So give me some background, for those of you who are new here. I was adopted when I was 2. I have a twin brother, and our family is white, who adopted us. Love them to death, and those are my parents. Those are my family members, my brothers and my sisters. My sister, sorry, I only have one sister, and at this particular time in my life, we're still living in Vegas. So I was born in Vegas. So we're still living in Vegas. We've moved around to a few different houses within the, not the Vegas proper, if you will, but like Henderson and all that around those places around Vegas. And so we, at this particular time, we're moving. So we're packing all our stuff up, and at this point, the whole family is used to this. We're accustomed to this lifestyle of just, hey, we're moving. We're going to move to this different house, or we're whatever the case might be. So we're accustomed to it at this point. It's just another move. It's really unfortunate because my older brother, who was also adopted, he had a girlfriend that lived. So we lived at the beginning of the cul-de-sac, not at the end of the cul-de-sac. He had a girlfriend, and he was leaving her, of course, because we were moving. And leaving is kind of a crazy term, because the truth of the matter is we were still going to be in Vegas, so they could have still seen each other, because he was, oh Lord, how old was he? I don't even remember how old he was. He was older. I remember that he was older. And so we were still gonna be in Vegas, so he could still see her. But when you're young, dramatics, right? You're like, oh my gosh, I can't see you ever again. Oh my goodness. And truthfully, I think he was kind of looking forward to it, because he knew that it meant breaking up. And at that time, everybody was still communicating through home phones, and so or you wrote letters, because I remember I even totally sidetracked. We found letters that him and my brother and his girlfriend wrote to each other, and man, we try to use them against them. If you have siblings, I don't encourage that. If you're not older, bigger, and stronger, or if you're not faster, for that matter, I don't encourage that, because definitely got beat up. So anyway, no, don't want to harp too much on that, but so so yeah, they're going through that. They're doing their lovey dovey thing, and me and my brother, me and Queese we're loading everything on from upstairs, downstairs, putting in the garage, and then my dad's loading into the U-Haul and all that. Just we all kind of figured out what our role was, because we had moved so many times, so we all kind of knew who was doing what, where we were supposed to be. Once you finish that, go here, and then you had it figured out. And so we're moving. My brother and I are upstairs. We just finished emptying out our room. And now we're helping in my parents' room, getting all the boxes. My mom's directing traffic, if you will. She's saying that box, that box, that box. I don't know how they did it, to be honest, because it was like my mom and my dad had this telepathy in which they knew, like, okay, he's going to want this next, so you're going to take that down there. And I would take it down there, and he'd be like, is this? And I'm like, I don't know. And he'd be like, all right, cool. And he loaded it in the box, or he loaded it in the U-Haul, or he would set it to the side, said, nope, I need this first, and then go upstairs. And my mom's like, I already know what he needs. You guys need to take this mattress down because, space-wise, this is how we need to set it up. So at the time, I didn't understand how they knew, that whole the dichotomy, how they had it all worked out. But they had a way, and it worked. It worked. So again, in this particular moment, getting ready to move, we're loading everything. Everything's going flawless, right? I think this is what is this, day 2? I think it was day 2 of moving. No, it might have been, I think it was the first day. It was the first day of moving. So like we got up right early and we're doing our thing. Like I said, everybody knows their roles at this point because we've moved several times. And my mom says something to my older brother. I don't remember in particular what she said, but it was more along the lines of like, hey, take this box. Oh, that's what she's like. Take this box downstairs and put it over here. And he's like, all right, I need a break first. And he was like, she was like, you can take a break afterwards, or you can take a break when all of us are taking a break, right? And keep in mind, we had been going at it for a few hours, but we had just got done eating breakfast. I don't know, maybe an hour or so ago. So like, not saying they're breaking child labor laws or anything, but like, you're a family, you're moving, trying to get things done, only have the U-Haul for a day, so you're just trying to get everything, progress everything. And, my brother, excuse me, my brother was like, no, I'm taking a break. He was more of a, I don't want to say he was a vigilante, but he definitely liked to, test your patience, and make you get very close to like, like if I was as big as you, was taller than you, man, I'd punch you in the chest so hard right now. And he, so he's taller, he's bigger than my mom, and she's like, hey, I need you to do what I say, and then you take a break. And he just was like not having it. I don't know what it was. Maybe it was, the girlfriend thing. I don't know. I don't know what it was. Maybe he didn't want to move again. We all kind of felt that we were tired of moving. But I don't know what it was, but he was just like, nope, I'm not. I'm taking a break. I'm sitting down. And he sat down. And now keep in mind, this is all occurring in my parents' room. Me and my brother, my twin brother, Queese, we are confused because we know what comes if you don't listen. So, we're kind of all watching this, and we got our boxes in our hands because like I said, my mom said, hey, load these things, and we're just kind of watching like, oh, what's going on right now? Do we move? Is it one of those situations where you move, you're like gonna get sniped out or something? I don't know. Right. So we just kind of like at a loss of words. And next thing you know, you can hear my dad come in from downstairs to the garage, and he's like, what's going on up there? Right. Because no one has come down in the last like several minutes. So, we had a flow going. So he's waiting for these boxes. He's just kind of sitting there like, what's going on? There was a flow. Now there's not a flow. What's going on? And my mom just like, she's like, Seth, get up here. And so he comes upstairs and he thinking something broke or whatever. He's like, what's going on? Why are we stopped? Why do you guys have boxes in here? Take them downstairs. And we're like, oh, okay, yep. And we go outside. Now we know, being living in our house living in our chaotic family at times. I think every family is chaotic, but living in with our family for some time, we knew it was about to happen. So we knew there was going to be a break. So me and my brother took our boxes, took them back downstairs to the garage. Of course, we're not going to load them on the truck because he didn't tell us to do that. And we were just kind of like, uh-oh. And here comes my sister. She pulls up and she's like, hey, what's going on, guys? Hey, how's the moving thing going? And we're like, oh, it's going. They're just upstairs. They got in another argument, and because it always felt like they were arguing. My brother and my parents. It was just he was adopted later on, so he grew up in the foster system, and I think he was 12 when we actually when he was adopted by us or by my family, and so like anyone who's adopted before or have been in the foster care system, you know that the older you get and the more you go through within the foster care system, it teaches you some things about independence and survival. Not survival for your life, but like survival instincts for like where you just like it's nothing's guaranteed, so you have to take care of yourself. You have to be prepared to take care of yourself at any given time. And so my older brother was very independent in that way, and I think my parents weren't used to that independence at such a young age in comparison to them, and so there was a lot of back and forth, because they had kind of, I think they had thought the transition was going to be similar to how for me and my brother, where it took us a few years to get accustomed to being like, this is our home, this is our family, that's mom, that's dad. Obviously we're different. Why are we different? And kind of having those things. And we were young, like, so 3 or 4 or 5, asking these questions. We're asking these questions, but we don't understand the answers behind them. We just kind of just know like, oh, we're different. Anyway, my brother, I think he had a hard time because his mom was still in his life, and in his life, meaning that he could see her, but there was how that he was able to see her. It wasn't continuous, right? I think she had something going on, and that prevented him from being able to see her all the time or whenever he wanted to. So I guess, like I said, he had a hard time with the transition, and thinking back now what I know with experience in life that I have, I can tell you that, I would have a hard time with that transition as well. You went from a foster care system where you were in a group home, and he was in and out different group homes, however that works. And, and being within those group homes, you learn some things and you meet some people, and you're like, man, these are my brothers, these are my sisters, these are people that, this is the only family I got. And then at times, you might argue, might bicker back and forth, but then, this family adopts you, and there might be some resentment from those who are still there, but also, it's kind of like you don't know what you're getting yourself into, meaning like, yeah, someone's adopting you, but then are they going to be a good family? What type of family are they? What do they believe in? What don't they believe in? And, I'm older, so like, what do they expect of me? Like, am I here just to be a babysitter, or am I going to be able to have freedom and be able to go out and do what I want? Or obviously, like, what is this relationship going to be like, right? Is this a relationship that's going to be, something that they want to build of like a father, a mother, father, son relationship? Or is it just kind of like, hey, collecting money from the state because they're adopting me, and you never know, right? When you're that young man or young woman in that situation being adopted, you never know. You're just kind of like, I hope it's just a good home, and I hope that I can I can assimilate well and with the other children that they have. Man, because just talking about it and thinking about it, I'm trying to I can I'm getting a glimpse into just kind of what my brother was going through, and how at times we forget that other people have their own feelings and their own emotions, and you just kind of you're just kind of like, no, like you just suck it up, man, get used to it. This is where you are now, right? And as an adult, I'm so used to that, like I forgot it. The army's taught me how to do that. But as a young man, you just want to be loved, and you want the family to love you. But for your family to change so often, it's hard to create bonds and relationship with people, because you never know when is this going to end. And so, man, my brother, he had a rough, and like I said, he had a rough because I think we were his second home in which adopted him. So like to get adopted and go back into the system that way, it's just hard. And then, oh, I'm sorry, no, we weren't the second home. He was in the system, and his mom got him, and he came and got him, and he was with his mom for several years, and then there was something that happened that had forced him back into the system. And again, it's just unfortunate because you just, as a son, you want your mom. Your mom provides that nurture and that love, and that's as a boy, as a young man, that's where you really learn what love is, what love looks like, is from your mom. And then but to have that intermittently and out of his life, I think that really impacted him a lot, and to this day I think it does impact him a lot, because there's at times, I can see these just small things of where, if he would have just been loved a little bit more in these certain areas, he would have been okay. And not to say he's not okay now, but he wouldn't look so sad at times, and I don't mean to sound like my family's just like a ball of depression, but anyway, we're downstairs. My sister comes along, and I'm telling her, but like, hey, like, this is what's going on. Like, they're upstairs, they're arguing, and she's like, ugh, she kind of rolls her eyes, and she goes upstairs, and she's like, hey guys, what's going on? Trying to, kind of lower tensions within the room. And they're kind of going back and forth, and me and my brother go inside to go get something to drink, and we can hear them upstairs, and it's just like, hey, you never listen, you're not listening. And my brother's like, all I want to do is take a break, he just never want to listen. And they're going back and forth, and then they're talking about moving, because again, for anyone who is like a military brat, or a family who just moved a lot, you understand when you're a kid, like, moving sucks, right? Because you build these relationships, you meet these people, and for my brother, who was older, who had a girlfriend, and our school was right down the street, like, he had established relationships, and he didn't think that, like, we were going to be leaving anytime soon. So this is kind of getting used to something being a place, being your home, and then just to be uprooted and be like, nope, time to go. It sucks. It does, it doesn't feel good. And so, they're kind of arguing back and forth. And so me and my brother just kind of sitting outside and eating our popsicles, kind of waiting for everyone to finish. My brother to get sent to his room, what's left in his room, if you will, and then us just finish the moving. And then an hour or so later, he comes out, and everybody's whatever, and we're on our way to our next house. Well, that didn't happen. What happened, like, surprised me. We're outside in the U-Haul, doing whatever, talking to our. We weren't talking to our friend yet. We're outside, and the garage door is flung open. It slams, and you swing a garage door open, it swings open, and we just look like, oh crap, what's going on? And my brother and my dad are like they're like pushing each other. So, like, my dad's like, just get out, just go, you just need to go, just basically, like, almost like, take a walk, get out of here, come back, whatever, but just take a walk, take a break, take a breather, because it's too much. Like, everybody's getting up, everybody's getting heightened, and whatever. And My brother pushes my dad. At this point, it's not like just like like they were like kind of shoved. I won't say gently pushing each other, but they were like hey, my dad was more guiding him out, right? And my brother like pushes him, like initiating, like, hey, like this is about to go down. And my dad was like, hey, you're about to cross the line, you need to go. My brother, again, understanding him, right, being in a group home, a good portion of his life, and understanding and knowing like he has to you know fight, at certain times. And when you have to fight, you ball up your fist and you just go. That's just kind of how where he grew up within the group home. And then even outside the group home, where he was just when he was just kind of, when there was no supervision, he was just out there doing what he was doing, trying to make it, if you will. And so my brother pushes my dad. He said, hey, you're about to cross the line. And before my dad could finish like telling him, you're about to cross the line, you just need to back off, my brother's throwing a punch. And at this point, I'm like in shock, because I'm like, he's about to punch him. What is going on right now? Like, I've never seen it before. Like, we're family. We're not supposed to be fighting. And my brother lands a punch on my dad, and I don't think it was like a solid punch, because he was backing up. But then next thing you know, my dad comes back and he punches him good, and then they're going at it. Right? It looks like two grown men just going at it, fighting each other. And then my brother falls over, and my dad's just kind of like beating him up. And my my dad, man, he's not like a goofy dude. He's a solid dude. He's not like an Arnold Schwarzenegger powerlifter type dude, but he's like more of a calisthenics. He runs. He does pull-ups, push-ups, all this. He's just more of a natural body, built that way. But he's a strong dude, right? He's a strong dude, and my brother as well. He's a young man as well. So they're kind of going at it, and no one wants to kind of get in between until my sister comes running out like, "Hey, get off!" And my mom's yelling like, "Stop it!" And me and my brother are just kind of like, "What is going on? What do we do? Do we like say anything? Do we like, hey guys, stop? No, please not." Or you like, what do we do? We don't know what to do. This is new to us, And my sister finally kind of pushes them off, and whatever separates them, and they're throwing cuss words at each other at this point. And my sister tells my brother, get in the car, let's go. Gets him in the car, and they just drive off. And me and my brother again are just kind of like, okay, what do we do? Where do we go from here? And it's kind of weird, because you're like, do we ask if we're still moving? Do we initiate the movement of let's load the boxes? Like, what do we do from here? And my mom's just like, we're done right now. We're done. And so she and my dad go upstairs, like, hey, they're like, take a break, right? So me and my brother are just kind of like, oh my gosh, what just happened here? Like, what happened? Like, how did this, hey, I want to take a break, all the way get to we're throwing blows and people are leaving, Now, I don't tell you guys that story to make you think, ill of my dad or ill of my brother even, because truthfully, I think both of them were wrong in that situation. But it was a situation in which it changed me, because now how I think, like, I'll never fight with my dad. Now it's not saying like, oh man, if he tries it, whatever type of thing. No, like, I just like, I'm good. I'm good. I saw my dad. What was that? We were at my Queesa's football game one time, and me thinking like, I'm a strong dude, and I was like, give him a dead arm, and kind of walked up to him, and I kind of gave him a dead arm, and he turned around. He didn't skip a beat. I'm telling you, he did not skip a beat. Turned around, punched me right in the arm, and like, not like a gentle like punch. He punched me right in the arm, and I was like, oh, my arm went limp. And I was like, oh my gosh, that hurt really bad. And one of the other dads watched this whole thing, is laughing his ass, laughing at us, or mainly me, because he just sees how like immediately regret when I got punched. Like I was like, oh my gosh, I should not have done that. And it's when I'm just following my dad around the football field with a limp arm, like I shouldn't have done that. And I go, I'm sorry. And he was like, yeah, we learned a lesson, didn't we? And I was like, yeah, we did. And so like that moment right there, I was like, I'm good, guys. I'm good. I tested the waters and it's too cold. I'm good. You know what I mean? So, I would never try my dad, but I think back to that moment, now, because I have said things such as like, when my son's 12, me and him are going to fight. And, I don't have a son yet. The Lord will bless me with a son, but I don't have one yet. When I do, like I said, I'd make these comments like, "Oh yeah, when I have a son, me and him are gonna fight." And thinking about that comment, and then thinking about seeing my brother and my dad fight, it hurts me a little bit, because I think to myself like, why would I say that? Maybe it's for attention. Maybe it's to get a little laughs, like, fathers and sons, father laying down the law, being like, hey, I'm the real man here or whatever. But it was sad to see, truthfully. It was sad because, I didn't, growing up, I didn't want either of them to be upset with each other. I knew they had their differences, because, my brother was doing things that he shouldn't be doing, especially with our family, like, like this unacceptable behavior. And, we're not asking you to be a new person, just, change, some of these behaviors, fix some of these behaviors that no one told you that weren't acceptable behaviors before. And, it was just sad, because like all I really wanted for the longest time was a genuine family. And it took so long to get to that point of feeling like we had a genuine family, because like I said, when you're adopted, and you for a little while, you're kind of like, I don't really fit in, because I'm not the same as them. Like I don't have the same mannerisms, I don't have the same demeanors, I don't do the same things that they do. Like we're different people. We come from different people, different gene pool, if you will. Like, so like we're different. So how are we ever going to be able to come together and say, yeah, we're a family? And so that it would, I always wanted to just be able to finally say like, no, this is my family. This is it. And I never knew I had it until that moment. You know what I mean? Like seeing them fight, and then seeing my sister and storm off or drive off with him, and my brother being sad but angry at the same time, because I know he loves my dad, and I know he didn't necessarily want to fight him, but like also like he was angry, because as young men, we're all we for whatever reason, when we go through, when we're growing up, we get to this phase in our life, for me at least, and from what I've seen through my brothers, is we get so angry at the world, and just so angry, and that anger at times can go unchecked and cause us to take it out on the ones we love, or worse, take it out on the people around us that unknowingly are like, why is this happening? And so angry, but just so sad as well. And you can tell it kind of just wanted a hug. And I know it sounds cheesy, and I know it's like it sounds like I'm assuming what my brother felt, but looking into his eyes, because I remember looking into his eyes, because he looked over at us as he's getting in the car, and you can see that he was defeated, because he just, no matter what it is, how you swing it, he lost, right? And the important part is not that he lost. The important part is that when a son fights his father, he will lose. The son can win, but he will always lose. And for my sons, for any sons and fathers, or fathers of sons, whatever the case might be out there, you understand what I'm talking about. Your son could beat you up and then leave you there and then leave, but knowing that he lost. And it's one of those things where it's just like, because a father and a son are creating are supposed to create a bond that's unbreakable, and that bond is built through. It's going to be built through grit, built through tensions, built through anger, right? But mainly love. And under all of that pain and stuff is love. And it's a man's way of trying to express love to their son, but also teach them a lesson, because teaching the main lesson that life isn't fair, and it's not going to be fair, and you can't be weak in this world, because they will take you advantage of you. They'll spit you up, and they'll chew you, spit you out, stomp on you, and say, "It is what it is. You're a man." And then people will smile on your face like, "You're a man. This is the world that you live in." And so a father and son's bond is supposed to be strong and firm, and you got to build it from the ground up. But my brother being adopted at an older age, it's hard to build that bond with a person who doesn't know who he can trust. He doesn't know if he can trust him. He doesn't know, is his love temporary, or is his love forever, right? Is he going to, no matter what, even after this fight, is he going to love me? Is he going to still call me his son? Is he going to keep me? Are they going to send me back now? You know what I mean? Like, there's this fear of, are they going to send me back? And my dad didn't do any of that. The moment my brother left, again, being a spectator is in these things, when these things happen, is such a weird thing, because you can see both sides. Seeing my brother leave and seeing the sadness in his eyes, but then also seeing my dad, how sad he was, because he sat there and he just knew, he was like, this is what I didn't want this for you. I didn't want to ever, have to fight you, feel like I had to fight you, and my dad, he had a real hard time with that. When you're a kid and the house is empty, you can hear, you can hear things through the walls. My dad was upset, and you could tell, because he's trying to figure out how to deal with it, how to really, what does he say to him next? How does he tell them, "I love you, I forgive you, just please understand where I was coming from," without, my brother getting upset again. Pride, man, pride. It's just people's egos. It's a tragic thing, man. Like, because even with divorced couples, or people who are separating, pride and ego, that's the downfall, right? Because I think a lot of people can work things out between each other, but I think there's a lot of pride and there's a lot of ego on both parties. But my dad, there was a lot of emotions. There were some tears there, because he never wanted to get to that point. And as a family, we kind of sat down and said, "Hey, this is never going to happen again. This is unacceptable. This is not what we do in the house. We're not here to fight each other. We're a family. We love each other." And then I know my brother and my dad had a conversation separately outside of that. And I remember just sitting there thinking to myself, like, I hope he comes back. Because at the time I didn't know if he was going to come back, but I was like, I hope he comes back. I hope this doesn't ruin, our family, because all I wanted was our family to be together. My sister, she was at that age where she was moving out. She had moved out already, because we were she had moved out already, and she was in her life, walking into her womanhood, if you will, and of life, and figuring all that out. But she was still, present in our family, because she was, because she lives right down the street from us, and so it's kind of that's why she was there. But like my family to get like I just wanted all my family together. I remember Christmas time, we would do youngest to oldest who would that's how we open presents, and like seeing everyone around just being happy and getting their gifts and laughing and eating, and everybody wanted to do their own thing, but everybody also wanted to be together. It's one of those times where you think back, create a mental picture in your head. You're like, I want to remember this moment forever, where it makes you smile, and it genuinely does make me smile when I think about all of my family together and we were all happy. But that was one of those times where we weren't, and I just wish I had a way to solve it, to fix the problem. And I was a kid. I didn't have a means to solve it. I didn't truly fully understand what was going on in front of me. I just knew that like my dad was upset, my brother was upset. So man, it was a crazy time. I don't want you guys to think that like this happened often. Where between my dad and my brother, or it didn't. That was the only time actually it happened. But it was so strange, Oh man, I have so many more. I have so much stories. Thinking about this story, talking about this, now it reminds me of so many things that I kind of put in the back of my brain from growing up. But like, man, if you're a father and you have a son, even daughters, I don't know, a son. Let's stick with there. We even have a son, right? Raise him to be a strong man, right? Right. Every father wants their son to be a strong man. Every father wants them to surpass them. I mean, you want your kids to surpass you, but like that father and that son relationship, you want your son to surpass you. You want your son to have so much more than you did, and you want him to have it easier, knowing it's not going to be easier, but you want to try to make it as easy as possible for him, because like I said, life is gonna beat him down, and you don't want him to get so beat down that he's sad and he just like, I can't do this anymore. When I got to Fort Hood in 2014, everything that my dad had taught me growing up, mentally, in particular in this moment mentally, it's basically, it's all come to this moment. And what I mean by that is, as a man, you're going to leave your house one day. You're going to leave your mother and your father, and you're going to go out, and you're going to make a path for yourself. Hopefully the path in which the Lord lays out in front of you, but you're going to make a path for yourself. And for me, that was end of April in 2014. End of April, beginning of May. I think it was like May 8th or something. And I'm in Fort Hood at this point. I met my dad in San Antonio, drove from San Antonio to Fort Hood and Killeen, and we're at this burger place. I think it was Wayburger, and we're eating, and he's basically working. He's gonna eat, and he's gonna get back on the road. He's got to go, and I remember just kind of sitting there, coming to the realization that he's leaving. And it's not I'm never gonna see him again, because he was in San Antonio because just for work. That's how his work was. He spent his hub was in San Antonio, and so San Antonio was only 2.5 hours away. But it kind of was a realization that, like, I'm not going to wake up tomorrow and boom, my dad's going to be there and, like, he's going to have the answer and he's going to help me figure it out. I'm like, no, like, I'm going to be by myself. And that reality set in really quick. And I remember sitting in this middle of this restaurant, eating a burger, and I'm in tears. I'm in tears because I'm like, no, I'm not ready. I'm not ready to be by myself. I'm not ready to make these decisions by myself. I'm not ready to be my own man. Like, I'm scared. What if I fail? What if I'm not good at? These are all the thoughts that are going through my head. And I know my dad sitting there, he knows all these thoughts are going to make, because he himself had to go through it himself. And he kind of just puts his hand on my shoulder, and he's like, hey, Kwani, it's gonna be okay. He's like, it's you know, this is something that you have to do. And he's like, I'm so proud of you. You joined the military, you're in the army, you're about to, go on this journey of being in the military. And he's like, you don't have to do it forever. You do it for 4 years. I've been doing it for 10, but and he's like, you don't have to do it for forever. But he's like, I'm always here. If you ever need anything, like, you can call me. He goes, you can, drive down, come see me. Like, he's like, I'm only 2.5 hours away. Like, don't even worry about it. Like, I'm always here. And I knew that, but like deep down, it kind of felt like it wasn't, because it was scary. It was a scary moment for me. And so I bring that up because these moments, for fathers and sons, these are the scary moments, right? Because that's when reality sets in, and you're like, reality scares me. So, man, hey guys, I don't want to get too down in the dumps, but I just kind of wanted to tell you that story. It kind of felt weighed on me a little bit to kind of tell a story, it made me. It just brings up all these emotions, all these memories. But there, when I know that's what the actions, what happened is bad, but like the memory itself, man, it's a good memory in the sense, because I learned a lot from that moment about my dad and about my brother and how much I love them. And if you have brothers, you have sisters, and you haven't talked to them, call them. I say that for a reason. Like I said, just on my heart a little bit. Call them, talk to them, reach out to them, tell them you love them, say hello. Same thing for your parents. Call your parents, tell them you love them if they're there. If you talk to them, present in your life, call them, let them know you love them. Sons, call your dad. Call your dad, tell your dad you love him. Because the scariest thing in life, the scariest reality in life is time. And I say that because that incident, right? Give you guys, break it down. I'm 29. That incident happened. Oh Lord. And I was still in Vegas. That was early 2000s. So my nephew wasn't born yet. So this had to be, because I know it was after 9/11. So this had to be 2002, 2003, to give you guys perspective. So almost 20 years ago, right? And at that moment, I'm thinking like, this is my whole life. Like, I don't understanding the things that could happen in life. But like 20 years ago, this is when this happened. And my parents are older, my brother's older, I'm older, and time, it's a crazy thing, because we think we still have so much of it when we're young, but then we get older and we don't. Anyway, I won't get too deep into it, man. But hey guys, thank you for joining me on this episode of Mediocre Dads. I am your host, Q. I really appreciate you guys watching these videos and watching my content. Before you leave, I do have something for you. I just want to hit you with a verse here, and I think it's a prayer that, or it's a blessing that I heard at my church, and it really resonates with me, because it just kind of gives you that warm feeling of before I leave anywhere, when someone says it. So it's, may the Lord bless you and protect you. May the Lord smile on you and be gracious to you. May the Lord show you his favor and give you his peace. So, I just pray that you guys have a wonderful day, a wonderful week, a wonderful year. Please, I hope you stop by again, watch some more of the videos. Hope you enjoyed this video. And again, more videos will be coming. Being mediocre is a choice. Refuse to be mediocre. Like I said, I'm Q. Mediocre Dads out.